So
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Old Grumblers podcast, the one and only. And today we are going to talk about, this is the New Year's episode. I don't know when this is going to get released. As it looks right now, Danish will edit this meanderingly, and we'll have it released in a short 2 weeks. Today we just wanted to gather up, talk about the year, and a little bit more about ourselves, what we've been doing as well, because we are content creators. We like talking about ourselves. So, like right now, we trap 2 other people to listen to us. So we're just going to take advantage of that, and just talk about also the statements from CA.
Yes, the statements. Oh, the statements. Where did they put that out, actually?
It was a couple of days after. I went into, I think, Sotek's stream, and he was like, hey, did you see the statement? I was like, no.
I feel like they released it when I was already doing things. I definitely saw the tweet, their Christmas message and statement. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, because nobody really bothered reading it at first, because it was like, oh, yeah, well, what's that about? But it had some really interesting stuff in it.
It did. I think they released it about the 20th, so...
Yeah.
2 days before Christmas. I think probably the last working day CA probably had, would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
What they had, though, is that they won't have blood packs anymore. No blood DLC. Yes. They'll just eat that age rating instead.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense, to be honest, because there's so many other games which have blood in them. It feels weird to keep it out to try and get a lower rating.
And also,
yeah, it's like
on PC, do ratings really make any bit of difference to anyone?
Yeah, but it's also one of those like, yeah, is this our demographic, kids? Like, if like my demographics for my channel is like 25 to 36 or something.
Yeah, yeah. Total War is not a young man's game, is it?
It kind of isn't. No, you kind of have to have read up about like, oh, did you know how Hannibal managed to win while being outnumbered by the Romans? Like, what are you talking about? I'm bow-tie mogging you right now. Stop talking about Hannibal.
Exactly. So yeah, no more paying for blood pack, which I think is a really good change. Yeah, that makes sense. It's been people get annoyed every time they bring out the blood pack. I still remember when they brought out, I think, Total War Troy, and during one of the streams, it had the blood effect in it. One of the CA streams, they had blood effects in it, and then it took like 4 months or something to get the blood pack in the game. And you're kind of like, I don't really understand why you're taking that long, but okay. So yeah, just having it in the base game, yeah, that's just, to be honest, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
the launcher, is it just me? I do not really care about the launcher.
No.
I mean, an extra launcher is something that like really old school people will probably dislike. The same thing where like people got angry about Empire being on Steam for the first time. So I need a launcher, and then when I click the game, a launcher pops up.
I don't know. I think it's just an elegant solution for mods. If Total War was aiming for the Steam Deck, then that makes sense because launch is just no bueno. But Warhammer 3 does not work on the Steam Deck in any reasonable way, so I won't really.
No, you would struggle to use Total War on the Steam Deck, I think.
I mean, it doesn't even run. If you try and load Immortal Empires, it's just like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems weird. To be honest, I don't really mind the launcher. I do find it weird how you can start a Total War game and then just switch the Total War game you can play.
It's funny.
At the top. It's something I almost never, like, I think I've used it twice in the time. It's like, so that's weird. But mostly it's just the mods. It's just a mod.
It's just a mod manager.
Yeah, mod manager. That's all it is, really. That's all I care about. So, I mean, if they want to have another mod manager, I guess that's fine. I don't really know what they're kind of expecting to get out of a launcher, though. It seems weird.
Well, if you get rid of the launcher, you then need to, like, what they're going to have, a mod menu screen that is basically just the launcher, but you can't switch games. Something in-game, like Factorio, but that seems like a lot of work. I just don't really know what the alternative is going to be. And I think it's a very minor issue to work on, but, you know.
I guess... I doubt the people working on the launch will be the same people working on any of the games, so it's probably just something they have in their back pocket to work on, I guess.
If my Vampire Counts reboot gets delayed because of this damn launcher, you will hear from me.
Yeah, he would have added Neferata to the game, but he really wanted this mod launcher.
Yeah, the same as comments from the Sean interview. God damn it! Here Sean is could have fixed the gate bug, but instead he's asking meme questions from these buffoons.
I genuinely don't think the gate bug can be fixed. It's not a bug; it's a feature. They just can't really do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's there to stay. That's the only one that's actually managed to fix that one is Three Kingdoms.
Did they?
Yeah, kind of, because like the gate bug happens most of the time because the enemies start like target you from defense position. So you're standing so close, and then like they go in and it opens up
because there's a gate. Because there's a tunnel.
Because if you're playing Enkari, for example, you're gonna notice that his rampaging makes them just run out all the time. So he's gonna be like having the gate bug like almost every battle, every siege.
Yeah.
But Three Kingdoms have like this really long tunnel, so they just never interact there. So you never have that problem. Also, you have like the cool grappling hooks, so you want to use those instead because that's a cool animation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. That's a good point. I thought about that, but yeah, actually, that does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? Who knew?
Yeah.
I've never realised, but yeah, they did actually fix it. How weird.
Yeah, it can still happen. I've seen it happen, but it happens like so little thanks to that tunnel. So it's such a good workaround.
Interesting. Oh, well, there we go. Also, factions will no longer be an early adopter bonus. I don't know how to feel about this one.
I think if we go the route of there is no pre-order bonus like faction, and that just means that like the Ogre Kingdoms, they won't have released on launch and been a piece of shit. They'll have released later and been good. That's fine by me.
Yeah. I mean, Warriors of Chaos was the first one for Warhammer, right? And they're one of the best factions now because they actually got like a glow up later.
Yeah, now they were dog shit for like 5 years.
Yeah, but I'm always wondering, like in an early access kind of term, like if they would have been as good if they would have just been released.
Yeah.
So
my concern is it's more of a people go, oh, but this should have been content in the game, and they go, okay, then it's now a DLC that you buy later rather than you get free for something like that. I wouldn't mind if maybe they did a thing where they go, well, if you pre-order, you get like the first DLC free or something like that. Like,
yeah,
it was sort of pre-order bonus, but you wouldn't get it on release. It was sort of like when the first DLC came out in like 2 months or whatever, 3 months, you got that one. But it sounds like they're just doing, you don't get it. In which case, it's kind of like, well, good job, everyone. Now we get less free stuff.
I mean, from a consumer perspective, like, no pre-order bonus is like no incentive to pre-order, which is good for a consumer. But for CA, that like you want pre-orders, so it seems like a bit of a bizarre choice for them.
I mean, is it like any consumer, like Monster says, people will just get less stuff and will have to pay more in the end because usually you would have the discount anyway, and then you would have like a $10 or $15 DLC or $20 DLC like straight out of the bag as well.
Yeah, they did say they'd like do discounts and stuff for pre-order. So
yeah, it's I bet it's not going to be equivalent.
Oh god, no, probably not. But
it's from a money perspective, it's probably a loss for the consumer, honestly, unless they have a really good discount, which I doubt.
Yeah, I don't know what the right answer is, but I feel like going no pre-order bonus is sort of just generally worse.
Yeah,
but I'm willing to be told I'm wrong, and I will hold my hands up if that is the case.
I mean, it is a mixed bag, right? Because Warriors of Chaos at launch and Ogre Kingdoms at launch were both factions that were basically like just a bunch of dudes that they put in, and then they just have like minimal campaign stuff, and it was all just like, we have these models anyway, let's just make them into a faction kind of feel, like the Warriors of Chaos were. So probably not missing much of like any actual value, but like the money value though is going down.
Yeah. And then the last thing was that they're going to change the Shadows of Change DLC to be like the newer ones where you can get the individual races. So I think that's a good change, actually. I think that's
fair enough. And
yeah, they're also gonna
the most exciting part in the subtext, not even in bold, We're working on a plan next year which brings key campaign changes to Kislev's content. Maybe Mother of Stanky final battle change? Question mark.
All I'm saying, yeah, like that's gonna happen.
All they're going to do is change the wording at the loading screen for the final battle from the Forces of Darkness to the Empire. Boom, job done.
Hey, not even that.
So I think it's a good chat. I mean, it was interesting to see because I did do some stats down the bottom, but it was interesting to say that Elspeth was the second most played campaign.
That doesn't surprise me too much, to be honest.
And then the third was Malachi.
Oh.
I think we're glossing over the fact that we're getting reworks for Kislev, Siege, and Grand Cathay as well. Like Kislev is getting a big rework.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that of changing it to that in getting the individual characters DLC, and you've got a DLC pack, Thrones of Decay, which has got the second and third most played factions.
That's probably why they're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna, since we know the DLC cycles are just like longer and longer all the time now. It's like 8 months now. That like the next DLC will be probably like July or August, right? So probably they want like a big content drop somewhere in the middle. I'm guessing Shadow Change will just be that rework that they're dropping. So they're fixing up Kislev, because Kislev is still like an ass campaign. Seeing actual Kairos is also like weird because it's just like so much worse than Changeling. It's not that Changeling has just the like cooler mechanics, because it does, but it's also just the tech tree is just garbage for Siege comparatively.
It is a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, I do. Thing is, if I was going to play a Zinch campaign, I'd probably go with Kairos, simply because the Changeling is such a letdown.
Yeah. Like
all of his little schemes and stuff always just feel like he feels like he's trying so hard and he just can't quite. I'm trying to think of a really good analogy for him, but he tries all these like really cunning. He's like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. He's trying all these. He's like Wile E. Coyote. He's trying some really niche. He's ordering all that stuff off Acme. He's got these really, and then the Roadrunner comes and just runs through his painted on tunnel, and he's kind of like, well, why am I even bothering anymore? It just feels every time you do a big scheme, it's like, aha, I've moved the Black Pyramid to the Empire. That was fun. I guess I'll wander off now because it's done literally nothing. I've changed nothing. I've achieved nothing in my life.
Yeah, it's like one faction and then it gets destroyed, and it's like somebody who doesn't. Maybe they're not even alive at that point. So it's just a settlement that gets taken over.
So bad. I'd probably go with Kairos just because I wouldn't have that desperate sort of like, oh, this is going to be great, and then that real letdown of, oh, this was just no. What's the point in this? So I think I'll go with Kairos just because,
Yeah, I probably played more Kairos since this Changeling got released as well.
But it's nice because Kislev is a weird faction in that it kind of is a faction that relies on having its 3 main cities, and then half its factions don't start anywhere near them, which is odd.
Yeah.
So I feel like there needs to be. So they're kind of like I've started a Bretonia campaign recently, and I really feel like the best place for a Bretonian faction to start is anywhere but fucking Bretonia.
Well, because you just finish your starting world and you're like, well, I'll just wait till I get enough chivalry to confederate everyone and just kind of sit around.
Yeah. And also, because Bretonia is this weird place where you've only got 2 settlement factions, so basically starting anywhere outside of Bretonia, suddenly you've got more to utilize there. It's just a really weird faction, just very odd.
Mm. Well, we've been every time we mention reworks, they get brought up. So
yeah,
I like Bretonia still. The Bordeaux is still like one of the best money making places in the entire game.
Oh yeah, they're very rich.
I like them as a faction, but it's obvious they need a little pass. Considering they're basically a free faction, you feel like maybe they'd go back and do some stuff to them. But
I mean, I will agree with that. If you're starting Bretonia, you kind of unify Bretonia, and then you're like, now what? And then you like menacingly look at Karl Franz, and it's like, nah, I want to follow the lore. And then you menacingly look at the High Elves, and you're like, nah. And then you like look at Norsk, and you're like,
okay, here we go again. Yeah, so changes for Kislev would be nice. Cathay, I don't think Cathay really need anything. Don't think of anything.
a lot of people are unhappy with the harmony changes for them. Personally, I like them because the faction-wide harmony doesn't make sense at all.
No, I
if you
do
keep,
think it gets hard to balance
yeah, I mean,
depending on the number of settlements.
some people really want the faction-wide harmony again, and like with Juan Bo, for example, you would like conquer 2 or 3 settlements every single goddamn turn anyway, and it's just impossible to keep that. Absolutely impossible. So that's, I don't know if that's a good game mechanic.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that should be. I feel like maybe if you did turn it back into a global, but rather than have it based on characters and buildings and stuff, sort of have its own sort of mechanic, something that you can sort of gain yin or yang points on and then distribute them in skills or something, so that you could sort of get that, well, I'd really want this, but if I do that, I'm in balance, so maybe I need to do that. Sort of try it that way rather than have this sort of weird, you need to build these different types of buildings, which just makes Cathay feel quite clunky in the building tree. They have so many buildings, they basically do the same thing, and you kind of end up going, oh, I don't know which of these I really care about.
Yeah. I know Cathay's always felt a little bit clunky, like the forcing you to change the compass, the notification every time. It's like, you know what, I'm kind of happy with the direction it's in. You know, I'm doing whatever. I need that control or that income or whatever. It's like, no, you need to change it because it's been so many turns.
Yeah, and it's always like, would you rather have something that is not useful instead? Would you maybe rather have some?
Yeah.
Would you cause attrition outside the walls? No.
No, never. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, but are you sure? Yeah, no, I really don't want that. Thank you very much. I'm going to stick with the. I can't remember. There's one that's really good, isn't there? I think it's like the northeast point or something, and you just the north point or something. I can't remember. Anyway, but you just go, I'm just going to stick there, and then I'm going to untick the notification so you never tell me about it again. Thank you very much, and just leave it there.
Yeah. It's like one of them I use that I think also is the attrition one, but it also gives you Celestial Comet bound to every settlement in Cathay, and then it's one that can summon Ancestral Warriors.
Yeah.
But Juan Bo is the only one who actually gets like the growth one, which is like the best one, obviously.
Yeah, and then they got the caravan mechanic, which I still feel is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, mid game you can't really use it anyway.
No, this is when they first announced this. When we saw the Warhammer 3 sort of announcement, and they said about the trade caravan, I was always like, "How is this going to work when most of the world is going to want to kill you?" And the answer is, it doesn't. That's literally the answer. Is it doesn't work very well. Unfortunately, they just try and murder you.
If you had more control over your caravans, as far as like you could maybe tell them to go a different route, or at least put units in them that you like. And just maybe like the ogre camps, you just pay for the units and you don't pay for the upkeep. It'd be a bit better, but still it's like they have no sense of, so I need to go on this trade route to Altdorf. Right, we're at war with the ogres right there, so I'm just going to walk straight through their territory and hope that nothing happens. I'm sure I'll be fine. Like, have some self-preservation.
I really think that, one, trade caravans should not be on the campaign map. Don't see the point in them. I know you go, well, if you don't like Cathay, you can attack them. And it's basically like, well, they're basically worth nothing at this point. Like, I think even if I was at war with them, I probably wouldn't bother attacking them because it's just not really worth the effort.
Oh yeah, they used to be worth like 30k or something.
And then they nerfed that, so now it's pointless. So you may as well take them off. And because in Pharaoh you had a trade mechanic, but it was kind of you didn't have a little trade caravan. It was just basically on its own little map. So it'd say you had a number of turns before you reached your destination, but there was no little army moving around the map. It was just in, ether. It was a concept. And I'm like, just do that. And you could have the fact that if they get to a node and that node is owned by a faction that you do not, you're at war with, you could increase the chance that your caravan is going to get ambushed, but also make it so that ambush is equivalent to what your army is. So you can fight it off, assuming, you haven't taken too much damage and whatnot, and you're being sensible, rather than your caravan reaches a point and then gets jumped by 5 fucking stacks. And you're like, well, that's that caravan dead then. I guess I'm going to make a new one, but what's the point? Because they start with 6 guys and they're just going to get to the same point and die horribly again. I may as well just not worry about this for the next, 50 turns or whatever.
Yeah. now I think it's safe to move on to the player stats as well. That's maybe the most awful segue I've ever done, but that's the podcast at this point.
Before we do that, I'm looking for this, but I heard it on I think it's Bellular or something, whereby they said that there was going to be no news until the end of 2025.
Excuse me? All right, thank God.
New game.
Wasn't he wrong about a bunch of stuff last time as well?
I don't know. I was looking for it and I couldn't see anything that said it, but
that sounds like bullshit.
Bullshit, potentially. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because if they are working on a new game, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear anything until next year. And I would probably say the end point, probably the tail end of next year, before any kind of announcement came through.
I mean, like we won't hear anything until next year. It's like, yeah, they're on vacation until for Christmas.
Also, it's the 31st. So likely they're going to come in the next few hours. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear anything about a new game until like the end of next year. That would probably, to be honest, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, to be honest, that sounds about right. Really, about what I would have expected. Obviously, we'll get DLC announcements, hopefully quicker than every 8 months. But
that would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice.
Be very, very nice. Dang, 8 months is a long ass time without anything.
Yeah, it felt like it.
It did drag, didn't it?
I mean, that said, the DLC that came out didn't exactly blow my socks off, you know what I'm saying?
But as someone in the comments was like, I can't believe you're being mean to DLC. I was like, we're not being mean to it. It's just, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one. I was like, how can you say this about us? My precious baby.
Okay.
I was like, I thought it was fine. We just didn't think it was like amazing.
It just wasn't amazing. It was like, I think I said in the comment, it was basically like, it's fine as a DLC. It's not a DLC that's going to make anyone buy Warhammer 3. No one's going to look at this and go, "Gore Bad Ironclaw. I've been waiting all this time. Now I'm in, baby." It's give us Neferata and Thanquol and Bone Ripper, and I think that might change.
Yeah, it's like, I want to play this Scarbrand's mini-me. That's who I want to play as.
Yeah, a lot of these characters were like, who? Oh, it's like on the 5th page of the special characters in the army's book. Oh yeah, I remember that guy. But they're no one particularly exciting. No one's waiting to play, Goldfag or Skull Taker.
Also, when I'm saying like Scarbrand's mini-me, because I know the comments are gonna get me for this one. I definitely say this as somebody. Well, if somebody's just looking at the store and doesn't know much about the mechanics and things like that, that's what it looks like.
What was that?
Sorry,
was it an alarm?
My girlfriend's beating the shit out of some dishes.
Well, it sounded like a metal wrench or something hitting the garage floor. I was like, my God, what is she doing?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what can be
just
making
like
that
the
much
start
noise.
of this, or like some alarm or something.
What were we talking about?
Play
it's a DLC.
stars.
Yeah, it was fine, but I hope the next DLC comes in with something like Neferata and Thanquol and Bone Ripper, because I think those characters are more they're more interesting. I think that gets a bit more.
You're getting Max Schreiber, the Empire.
Yeah, probably.
Best human mage there is. Up your spelt, Sargelt. Max Schreiber is the best.
He's the Gotrek and Felix guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He's so strong that he can make another Throg. Kinda.
That is impressive.
Yep.
God, even the CA dev team can't do that.
Anyway, let's go to the total score 20. So I thought it was really interesting that Karl Franz is the #1 most played campaign.
Always.
Yeah, I mean,
boring bastards.
No, he's great. I love that campaign. I probably played like 5 of those this year or something, 5 or 6 easily. Played like 3 Elseps as well. I love the Empire.
Elspeth was really good.
Yeah.
This is why 40k is like 80% Space Marines.
Why? Because their faction is just so much more fun to play.
So vanilla. So vanilla. Oh my god, it's so vanilla.
It's because anyone can if you've never played a fantasy Total War game before,
Yeah.
you just go like, oh, these guys, these humans, I know them. That's me. That's me.
Yeah. No, but I think it's like everyone's so gamified now. So it's like, oh, humans, they are the most generic ones. They're the most like reasonable. They're the most easy to understand. Cause like if you think about it, like everything is supposed to do what they look like they're doing, which Cathay does better. Because like the front line is supposed to hold the line, the back line is supposed to kill stuff, the artillery is supposed to blow shit up. The Empire is a little bit weirder because the front line doesn't really hold it that well. So Cathay is like better for that regard, I guess. But Empire is still great.
I have recently played an Empire campaign, and you do have a lot of options. It is quite a fun time. So I do get it. I do get it. But, I mean, number 1 and 2, come on, guys. Mix it up a little bit.
It's pretty cool that the second most played campaign is a DLC Lord. That individual buying system must be working. RIP Tamo-chan.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, Karl Franz has been in the game since Immortal Empires came out, and Elspeth has been in the game since she came out this year. And it's only 1.65 compared to 1.44 million campaigns.
Yeah.
It's not that much different. So I'd actually say Elspeth is. Is it only for 2024 though?
Yeah.
But still, like Carl, you know what? Carl is quite an old campaign. People have probably played it multiple times before, and they've gone back and played him again.
Yeah, but that's a testament to how bad Shadow Change was, because everybody has stopped playing it, and the most like important thing Thrones Decay did was get everybody on board the Total War train again, because everybody, like so many people, just like left this. I don't remember if you guys remember like the player stats, stuff like that. They were low as heck. Like people were not happy with Shadow Change at all. Like the community was so mad as well all the time.
Yeah. I think Thrones of Decay obviously has done well because being that Elspeth and Malachi are in the top 3 is pretty impressive.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking at Steam
Those
charts.
skills though, Hellstorm rocket battery. I don't really have a surprise there because those things wreck face.
I think that is just the standard.
That's probably including friendly fire.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. I wonder if they include the Sunmaker in that, because that thing always gets shitloads of kills.
It's also really fun with these. Like Europe plays the most dwarves. Like from these stats, Europe just plays a lot of dwarves. North America also just dwarves. South America, Kislev. Asia, Empire. Africa, dwarves. Oceania, dwarves. And the Warriors of Chaos are the ones that people have won with the most. But it's one of those things where people always went like, "Oh wow, Asia just bought Warhammer 3 got really sold a lot because like Asia bought a lot of it." But if you go into like the Asian forums and talk to people there, it's gonna be like they play the same stuff. It's like Empire and Bretonia. They're all like talking about.
That does not surprise me.
Looking at the Steam charts, like Total War's, good news, definitely on the up and up. But this DLC didn't really move the needle that much. But one thing
it didn't, did it? It was such a gentle bump, and I noticed that because I don't think the DLC got a huge amount. My videos on the DLC did not do amazingly. They did fine. Like I was, that's fine, but there was no huge jump or anything.
No,
like there usually is. It was a very sort of like meh.
Yeah, I think like in terms of DLC, you either get like these humongous bump DLCs or really bad bump DLCs, or you get maintenance DLCs. And this was just a maintenance DLC. Like you keep the player base around for a little bit longer, but they don't last as long.
Yeah, this is not the DLC you want to wait 8 months to release. This is something you want to wait like 6 tops to like just keep the game going, and then be like, oh, but after this one, we got something cool. But God, you can really tell that this is like a game that dads play. Like no one is playing it in the week, and then Saturday, Sunday, 35. Oh, I'm back down to 20 in the week.
Yeah,
it's the only free time.
25 to 36, main demographic.
Yep.
What I do find interesting is you got the most played campaign for Pharaoh was 303,000. You compare that to like the most played campaign in Total Warhammer, which is 1.65 million.
5 times.
Which is kind of insane. And then you also have to take into account that Pharaoh doesn't have that many factions, whereas Total Warhammer has, almost 100 different factions now. Compared to Pharaoh, which has got like, I want to say 12, I think. Not comparing the minor factions. So you compare those two. Pharaoh obviously didn't. I think Pharaoh is actually a really good game. But it definitely didn't hit Total War Warhammer 3 numbers.
I don't think it ever was going to, let's be honest.
No, not with the effort they put into it. I don't want to say that they didn't put effort in. They did, but
hot take.
There was obviously a lower budget.
Hot take. I think if they actually release the next medieval game, I still don't think it'd beat Warhammer, because Warhammer is it's pulled in people from outside of Total War.
Depends on how they do it. I think they're in the boat where they can't make universally liked medieval anymore. Because either people are gonna hate if they change stuff now, and people are gonna hate if they don't change anything. Because like at best they might just remake Medieval 2. That would be like the best case scenario for most people, I think.
Like a remaster or actually kind of
remake? So remasters is when you take the old game, you just make it work on old hardware, and you just put it like so that the UI gets a little bit freshed up sometimes. But a remaster is usually just the same code, same game,
new code paint,
spiced
really.
up. Yeah, remake is when you actually remake every single goddamn thing. Put it in like you remake it from scratch.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Because like if I've tried playing Medieval 2 and it doesn't make sense to me, boss. It's like a completely different game, pretty much.
Yeah, but also especially with remakes, you can like make a lot of new decisions as well. Like a good examples of remakes are Dead Space. It's Resident Evil 4, and one of the best remakes is the Destroy All Humans ones, because they literally like remake some stuff where they just the base game, like the old game didn't do this well, so we just reinvented this entire goddamn thing. It just works really, really well. Shout out to Destroy All Humans.
I think even if they did that, people would still complain. I think the only thing they can do is remake. It's not remake, but make a Medieval 3. And I don't know. I just get the feeling that no matter what they do, they're always going to sort of get it in the neck, because people are going to go, "This is too much like Warhammer. I don't like it. It's not historical enough."
I mean, like if you check how CA reads stats, no narrative campaign, so we're not even gonna have like good victory conditions, because people don't like Realms of Chaos. Like the last historical ones, like Thrones Britannia or Pharaoh, are like, yeah, people don't want those. The Kingdoms, though, people like that, and they only play the romance mode, like overwhelmingly so. So it's like, so how will the next Medieval 3 then be? It'll probably be like, here you go with like medieval Smash Bros. Like, yeah, Richard Lionheart versus like Charlemagne and
Richard doing these massive flips and shit, like he's some kind of kung fu master.
Yeah, maybe not a flip, but it's going to be like a little bit more wonky, and it might just be that
he's going to be like Yoda in the prequels. He's going to be jumping around all over the place. It's going to be amazing. Gonna be flipping out. But I think you know what I'm going to kind of say. I don't think the Romance Three Kingdoms mode, as much as I like the fact that your heroes are individual characters, which I do think works in that setting because they were supposed to be larger than life characters. I don't think the dueling system worked very well.
It looked cool.
I mean, it looked cool, but it was generally terrible, because once you were locked into that duel, there's basically nothing you could do about it. There were a few abilities you could use, but overall, it was a really missed opportunity. So if they were going to go and do that, I think they could probably do it better than Three Kingdoms. I mean, they could probably do it better, but would they actually do it better? I don't know.
I mean, the duels were really weird because either you 100% knew you were gonna win and you did it, or you 100% knew you were gonna lose, so you didn't. And even if you were gonna win, you would do it faster if you was take like 3 heroes or 3 lords and just like gang up on them instead. So it was like no reason to do it.
Oh, I remember my Yellow Turban campaign, because your characters were so souped up. I don't know why the Yellow Turbans apparently were like bench pressing fucking Bane from Batman, but I was fighting everyone, and no one would want to duel my characters because they were absolutely insane. So I would just send my 3 characters to go and like hunt down the enemy generals and basically 3-shot them, and just do that for the start of the battle, and then send them to murder the rest of the enemy army while my army just chilled in the background and waited for them. It was very Dynasty Warriors, but I would like to actually try a records mode campaign in Three Kingdoms, because I think it might actually be more fun.
The records mode in Three Kingdoms?
Yeah.
All right. So some stuff was easier, like defending settlements, stuff like that, because sometimes with smaller settlements you used when one of the like just the commander came in, he would just like murder so many dudes.
Just wreck you completely and utterly, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Should we talk about what games we played this year?
Yes. Let us.
Good.
Damneders.
Do that.
Damneders, Monsters. What were you guys' games of the year?
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, baby. So.
Oh yeah, you talked about that before, didn't you?
It's
you
so cool.
enjoyed that.
It's so cool. It's unbelievably cool. Good, big shout out to Crow Country as well. That was really cool. Little classic survival horror type. If you like your Resident Evil ones, like your classic ones, like PlayStation style, you like that?
That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Anything else I played that was this year?
Yeah, I had to go back through my Steam library and go, what did I play? And remind me, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, did that come out
last year?
January?
Last year, November.
It was last year, so it didn't. Okay, that won't count then. Although I will say that I played most of it this year, and I think that game is, although janky as shit, and the start of the campaign, the start of the game is fantastic, and the end is absolute arse. But the time you play it, the first couple of like chapters are really good, and it's just a shame that the ending is so naff. But I did enjoy having my Sister of Battle Agenta with a bolt gun basically murder everyone for me, while everyone else was like, well, I best stay out of the way because don't want to piss her off. Basically, everyone's like, we'll buff you, Agenta, we'll buff you. You just get your heavy bolter. You sort out, what's that? It's a what the fuck are those Necron shitheads called? The big metal the god guys, the star god guys. Who are those guys? Catan, thank you, yes. There's a Catan there, Agenta, single battle sister. You can use your heavy bolter to mow it down. Oh, you can. Oh, look, it's dead. Fantastic. Good job. So yeah, really enjoyed Rogue Trader, regardless of the fact that it came out last year, because it was just good.
Nice. For me, unfortunately, Star Wars Outlaws. That's my.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. People are gonna hate me for that one, but I really like map games, and it's a good Star Wars game as well. Unfortunately, I know some people didn't vibe with it, but for me it was pretty good. It's not a 10 out of 10 game, but I really like this.
I mean, sometimes a good 7 out of 10 is better than a 10 out of 10 that doesn't vibe.
Well, for some people, when you enjoy playing down more, because I played like a better game as well, which was like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yes,
fantastic game. So good. But like, I just enjoyed Outlaws more, and I know it's not as good of a game. And I think that if you're a Warhammer dude, you kind of have to understand that it's okay to like flawed things, because if you couldn't enjoy flawed things, then why are you watching this? Chessmates.
Is Outlaws a bit like an Ubisoft game?
It's exactly an Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
Oh, because it is. I see it's done by Ubisoft. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, Swedish developer, actually. Massive developments owned by Ubisoft. And then it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's Machine Games, which is also a Swedish company.
Good job, guys. Yeah, Indiana Jones is like, you're playing it and you're like, this is not in any way that innovative. It's like a very safe game, but it's just so fun.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's just you're sitting there watching the great, like one of the best Indiana Jones movies, and it's like got this entire game attached to it.
Like
It's
every time
crazy.
there's a cutscene and there was like a little musical thing, I'd just be like giggling like, hee hee, it's from the movie, hee hee, like kicking my feet.
And Troy Baker does such a
Oh,
good
it's-
Indiana Jones. All the time you're sitting there
It's
like, wow,
crazy.
Troy Baker does amazing Harrison Ford, who's doing an Indiana Jones.
He's so insane. It sounds exactly like him.
Yeah.
Right, you know what? I'm gonna add Star Wars Outlaws to my Steam cart right away.
Oh yeah, you'll get a big old sale from Ubisoft.
It's
35% off at the moment, which still makes it 40 quid.
So I'm gonna sell you Outlaws like this. Ubisoft does the best environments in video games, hands down. You can hate on them for whatever reason, but if you take a class in Egyptology, like go to university and take one, chances are you're gonna get a lot of flyovers from Assassin's Creed Origins, because that is the best representation we have of ancient Egypt, like digitally made.
Yeah, I've heard that.
When the Notre Dame burnt down, they literally used Assassin's Creed Unity builds from the Notre Dame to like check how it was built to rebuild it, right? Like it is insane the environments they do. And now they did Star Wars, and you can go around like Tatooine, and you're like, man, this looks exciting. Like this is that part in the movies, and blah blah blah. If you're a Star Wars fan, you just want to go like for a little amusement park ride. That's basically it. And then it's got like a game to it with K.O. McRanker fists, the best puncher in the galaxy, can punch through I did a lot of it, like extra meme lore for her, so it would be better because she can like punch a stormtrooper, and, like knock them out when they have their helmet on and stuff like that. But KO McRanker fist, she can punch out a Rancor, except for when she sees a Rancor. But otherwise, she's one of the strongest people in the galaxy.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, my kid did a lot of Star Wars toys for Christmas. He got is it Star Wars Rebels, the Ghost ship. It's so cool. Why didn't we have toys like that when I was young? This thing's amazing, and it looks fantastic. I'm just like, well, the shit I had to play with was really crap and janky. Why do kids these days get so? Why are the toys so good?
Oh wait, this is like the big one. I think I saw like a post of it.
It's the Micro Machines one, so the little characters are quite small, but it's like a full size ship for the little characters, with all the little bits and pieces, and there's 2 Y wings that you can like dock with the ship and everything. And it's like, this is amazing. Why didn't I? I remember when I was growing up, I got like a Star Wars figure. It was a stormtrooper, and frankly, it was mostly white. And I think you could move its legs and its arms, and they were like, so its arms were like straight out, so you could like,
Yeah.
hold a gun. But it was holding it like, I really don't like guns, and I'm gonna hold it as far away from my face as possible.
I need to get all my
kind of-
Star Wars toys from my parents. Get my Millennium Falcon out on display.
Nice.
I think I have Jango Fett's, whatever it's called, and it drops the seismic bombs, but they don't make the noise, which is upsetting.
That is upsetting. Yeah, you should
But
definitely
amazing.
do that.
But
That'd be good.
I need to talk about 2 more games. Right. First of all, have either of you two heard of or played mouth washing?
You know
No, I've
what?
heard of it.
I did watch a video about mouthwashing.
Takes you 90 minutes to complete, and the amount of the number of times, first of all, cool story, it's spooky, whatever, who cares about that shit? The style, the sauce, oh my god, I was sat here in my house by myself and said, you are showing off multiple times because of the transitions that they did with like data moshing and stuff. It's so cool. It's just so cool.
I've heard it's one of those games which is effectively art.
Yes, very much. Which makes me sound a bit pretentious, but I don't care.
But it's one of those games which pretentious people who think things are art would have to admit is art, because it's just
crazy.
so esoteric.
Like the visuals and everything, and then like also the story and the meta narratives on capitalism and AI. Woo! But yeah, it's a truly fantastic thing. Granted, someone asked me, do I have to play it or can I watch a video? And I was like, obviously, you should buy it and support the developers. However, if you just watch a 90-minute video, you'll get the full experience. You're not really missing much, but it's so good. And the other game, Pacific Drive. Such a cool little unique game. I really love that this year.
I get you like your little arty games, don't you? You want to be wearing a turtleneck and sitting in a coffee shop.
Well, I'm trying my best. So that's why I've got video essays channel, so I can be all pretentious. I need to get it out somewhere.
That's good. No, those games are very much that. You get your Ubisoft slop, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like your McDonald's. It's you know what
Trash
it's going to be.
games for trash people like me.
Exactly. Which is weird because you're the best dressed out of us. But you get that kind of the games which are going to be like, you're going to enjoy this. It's trash, it's slop, but you're going to enjoy it. And then you get these fine dining experiences which are, yes, they're basically just a little blob of orange goo on a plate and then a pretentiously shaped rice sort of cube. But, you taste it and you go, actually, this is probably the best thing I've ever tasted in my life. But I really need about 10 more of these to be filling.
But Pacific Drive's somewhere in the middle. It's a bit of a jank experience, but do you want to take a road trip through a national park whilst collecting things to upgrade your car and you keep it refueled and repaired? Because if so, you'll love that game, because that's all it is.
Yeah, I think you're kind of missing telling people that the national park is also overrun by like unnatural phenomena that is like world ending or straight up deadly, all of them.
It's got the anomalies like a la Stalker. So you'll just like be driving around and all of a sudden a giant piece of road will fly up or there'll be a weird robot thing and they don't really care about you, but they will fuck you over if you get close. It's so cool.
You missed that because that's not what you're interested in. It's like, I get to drive a little car, I get to fix it, I get to refuel it. Oh, this is the best thing ever.
You get to put paint jobs on it and decals and a little wobbly thing on your dashboard.
What a lovely lake. And there it flies off. That's a cool lake.
The check engine lights come on again. Yay!
You say that there is a cool quirk system where it's such a weird choice, but I'm so glad they did it where... So say every time you open your driver's side door, your parking brake will come off. But it doesn't tell you that. You'll just notice it happening and be like, why does my boot keep opening every time I turn on the wipers? And then when you get back to your shop, you have to be like, when I turn on wiper, boot open, and then it'll tell you if you're right or not, and then you can fix it. It's such a bizarre system that is just hilarious every time.
And another one that was runner-off for me was also Blade and Sorcery. I played that so much. I lost like 4 kilos in 2 months just from playing that game. Almost 10 pounds. Yeah, it's like VR, and you just have it's a psychopath simulator, right? So my wife came into the room one day, and I was like playing it, and I just like held a dude down like this and was beating him with a hammer. She just came in. I had like my goggles on, standing like this, and I had big goggles. Like,
yes, honey.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
I'm busy.
Playing video games.
I'm building a house.
Yeah, I'm building a house. That game was really good. Super fun. Like I said, I played it so much. I actually lost like a lot of 4 kilos just from playing that one.
That's impressive.
Black Trail.
That is very impressive.
Who cares about Black Trail?
So one of the things I really enjoyed playing this year, weirdly, was Duck Detective: The Secret Salami.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a weird little, I guess, point and click adventure, which I've kind of got back into. I haven't really played them in years, and then there was a sale on, and I bought like a bunch of them. I've been playing through them, and I tell you what, some of these point and click adventures have got some really good storylines. Mm-hmm. Stuff like Techno Babble and Hobbs Barrow are just really good. But Duck Detective it's just so polished and entertaining. It's not a difficult game, and my kid quite enjoys playing it just because I think he likes the Duck Detective. But it's got some good humor in it. It's really nice and polished. It's not very long, and they've got a new game coming out, I think, next year or something.
Okay, if you like those point and click games with a little bit of humor, Paradigm is currently like 3 points, like less than €4. I don't know what that is in pounds.
Called?
Paradigm.
I might already have that one actually.
And it is the weirdest one of the weirdest and best point-and-click games out there. It's got like 96% positive reviews on Steam as well. It is so weird. You can just watch the pictures on it, and you're gonna like see like, yeah, you're gonna see very quickly if you're gonna enjoy it or not. But it's incredibly weird.
I have to get that one because I've been playing a lot of those on my Steam Deck, and
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoying myself.
Yeah, 100. The only problem with that one is that it gives you so many ha-has per minute that eventually you sit there like, you're like kind of tired from all the laughing and being entertained. So you're like, yeah, it's funny.
This next bit has spoilers for Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. So if you don't want to hear that, skip like 20 seconds.
Sorry, speaking of ha-has, Monsters, did you watch Wallace and Gromit? I mean, and Fred, but I'm just assuming Monsters because he's in the UK. The Wallace and Gromit Christmas one. It was brilliant.
It was. I think with Wallace and Gromit, they never miss.
No.
It's just...
You're not expecting it to be bad. You
Always
just look and see how good it is.
Yeah, always enjoyable. But they say that's the last one. They're never going to do another one.
Because I ran out of clay. But then Feathers McGraw is on the loose.
I know, right?
Spoilers.
Like, come on. Surely they need to keep doing them.
I think they've run out of clay.
Spoil the ending of the movie if that's the ending of the movie. That's
It's not really that important. Did you see the near the end where they have the welcome
bleep
to
that out.
welcome to Yorkshire, and then you've got the other sign, the other side.
Welcome to Lancashire. It says like welcome to Yorkshire, keep out on the back and stay out. Welcome to Lancashire.
Yeah. Like,
good times.
No, you stay out.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels too.
Yes, county rivalry.
Yeah. But no, it's what a joy, honestly.
Indeed. The only other thing I've played this year, which I was really noteworthy, I think was Alien Isolation, which I both hated and thought was great. Like, it was a good game. It was definitely a good game. Did I enjoy playing it? No. It was a terrifying experience. It was genuinely horrific, and I had to finish each stream like an hour early just so I could chill myself out before going to bed, because otherwise I'd be traumatized. It was that horrendous.
I can't get scared from video games anymore. It's one of those like I envy people who have emotions still.
Try playing some VR like actual horror games. That is the first time you play a horror game in VR, you think that you are going to die. Is the scariest experience because playing anything in VR is inherently scary. Then you make it dark.
I mean, it does get stressful. I play like some horror game in my VR headset, and then like Resident Evil, and like I don't know if Arizona Sunshine is or Half-Life Alyx and stuff.
Half-Life Alyx, the Jeff sequence is pretty tense.
Yeah, they get a little bit like more stressful, but I don't know if more scary.
I think the problem with horror games in general is once you die, it becomes not scary and more annoying. It's like I'm no longer scared that the monsters are going to get me. I'm just scared that I'm going to lose my progress and have to restart a checkpoint. But that's just the curse of gaming.
I guess there is that. I was just looking at because I've never had a VR headset before.
I think the 3S you can use a lot if you have good Wi-Fi. You can use just Steam like PC VR instead.
Caveats to that is a bit of a farce to get it working stably, but it is.
I mean, mine works. I don't know why, but mine works super stably unless I stream Metro VR for some reason. But everything else works super stable for me. Like that's how I play all of my games, just like PC VR. Because I don't have enough room here to do it. I don't want to knock over my shelf, so I just go to the other room and play it. Like from the PC, and it works well.
Yeah, I've got a little mini route that I put on top of my PC that is just for VR, just so I can do that. Because if I try and do it, otherwise my shitty Virgin router just doesn't like it. The company, I'm not just calling my router a Virgin for reference.
You can do that if you like.
All right, one more game. Didn't come out this year, but both me and my partner have both played it. Spiritfarer. What a goat game. Very, very beautiful. Very bit sad. Good soundtrack. Good vibes. Well. And my friend's got me a gift related to it for Christmas.
Oh,
Look at this little guy. Isn't he sweet?
he's a little froggy dude.
It's a little tool. I can't hear you, obviously, so I'm just going to pop him back.
Oh, there's no point talking to you. Might as well just ignore you. Speak. Just say mean things.
Not much of a difference there.
So what's this game?
It's really hard to explain what it is, but
No,
essentially,
what's the name of it?
Spiritfarer.
Oh yeah, the one with where you have the boats to carry people to the next life.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's really hard to advertise it because there's a lot more going on beyond that. And if you just say, well, you build up your boat, it sounds boring. And if you say, well, you explore little islands, it also sounds boring, but it is not. It's really fun.
Isn't it like a bunch of cool stories about like taking people across the next life, and it is pretty emotional and cool like that. Yeah,
it is very. You need to be ready to feel when you play it. But,
Yeah,
but
I'm worried
it's not
about you,
bad.
Damners, now, because whenever you talk about a game, I'm now going to be suspicious. And you go, oh, it's a game about, ferrying people to the afterlife and building your boat. And someone says, yeah, what about the alien invasion? And you're like, oh, yeah, well, there is an alien invasion, yeah. But
what about the eldritch horrors that know your real name? Well, yeah, they do show up mid-game.
I was trying to sell it because, who doesn't love driving a station wagon?
And one of my friends released her second game as well. And it has some banger goddamn music, actually. You should almost just listen to the music for Seer's Gambits. Such a cool game.
This is where
It's
I get
an
all my
auto-battler.
recommendations.
Yeah, bets.
Ooh, this is cute.
Because the person they hired to make the music did such a banger job. I was like sitting like this while playing it.
I love a good soundtrack. I started Silent Hill 2 last night, and I was just like, oh, the vibe. The vibe is just so good.
Are you gonna guess the good ending for that one?
We'll see. I don't know how to get all the endings, and I believe it or not, I'm relatively spoiler-free in Silent Hill 2. I can't believe I made it this far in life. But I'm gonna try.
A game I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of that I played the first one is New Arcline, which is just a new RPG that is like Arcanum, but new, and it was really good what I played from it. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be such a banger when it gets released. I'm so looking forward to seeing how that one is gonna look like.
Yeah, this one does look very cool.
And one that actually surprised me a ton this year as well was the new Sonic game. It has 97% on Steam.
Holy
It's
smokes.
insane, actually, how good some of the stuff is. Like the Shadow segment of it, Shadow the Hedgehog. It's like such good levels. People are like, yeah, this is some of the best Sonic levels ever.
So which one is that? Sonic X Shadow Generations?
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's
shit,
got less
yeah,
than 10,000
overwhelmingly
reviews, but
positive.
still, that's...
Yeah, 97%.
Oh my god.
I was playing that one. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is like really good platforming. Like the 3D levels are fantastic. It's something like every other one is 3D and the other one is 2D, and the 2D ones are like, I can do this, and then the 3D ones are like,
It's weird because like Sonic games for so long were just awful, just terrible, like absolute slop, and now they've brought it back. That is impressive.
Tell me that Sonic Unleashed wasn't Game of the Year material? Or it becomes a werehog or whatever it was.
where
I watched the Sonic movie, the Sonic 3 the other day, and I genuinely think it was a really good film. And considering some of the trailers I saw coming like at the start, which were, I want to say like 80% real, what's it like the real adaptations of Disney crap, which just look awful. Like How to Train Your Dragon. Why do you need a real life adaptation of that? What is the point?
that and Lilo and Stitch is coming out as well. I'm like, why? Why would you do this?
On like one hand, I almost get it, but on the other hand, I'm just like, why? It doesn't need it. Some of those old Disney films are like actually perfect. Like they don't need anything changing. Nothing is going to be added by putting some real ass person in there. But what can you do?
I've been rewatching a ton of old Disney movies with my 5-year-old, and it's just like good watching those things. Like they're so good, and animation was just nice as well. Like she's really into the Lion King now, like really, really into the Lion King. Because now apparently they have like a new the Lion Guardians or something like that as well, which she really enjoys. But watching like all Disney movies, like yeah, man, this was really cool. Also, it makes you like wonder what the heck age ratings are anymore, because the things that we watched, we were like 4 or 5 or something like that. It's now like 7 or 9 or plus or something like that for kids.
I mean, do you remember in Pinocchio when the kid gets turned to a donkey? It's like basically a body horror scene. Yeah. That shit was scary.
Yeah, no, I'm still traumatized by Who Framed Roger Rabbit when they dipped the shoe into, like, that thing does not want to be killed, and he's like, no, you're gonna die, and he dips it in and it slowly dissolves, and I'm like, holy shit, that's terrifying.
Or the what's it called in English, the Land from Long Ago or something, the dinosaurs, the little kids,
Land Before Time.
Oh yeah, Land Before Time. And I don't know the translation because I watched them all in English. But also, like, my mom didn't really like know what age ratings were, so she was like, she found like at a market, she found like Silver Fang VHS tapes, and we're like, oh, here you go, kids. And I was like 6 or something like that. I was like, oh shit, these dogs really are killing each other. That's crazy. That's a lot of blood. Oh, they're fighting a bear. Oh, that bear is going to town on those dogs. Jesus Christ! Like it's it's an anime, right? It's just super bloody. And apparently,
like shit down.
Yeah,
There's
almost.
A lovely story about cute rabbits, right up until the point that they start ripping each other's throats out, and so you get this rabbit like drooling blood, and it's like, oh my god, this is so. This is why grown-ups are so messed up now.
Just look at another one. It's like, death is around every corner. Let's keep moving.
I'm gonna have to get this Sonic game in now.
After watching after playing the Indiana Jones game, I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to rewatch the old movies. I think the first one's like a PG. That has got so much blood in it, and that guy gets spiked in the head like 5 minutes in. It's crazy what they used to just get away with.
Yeah, those movies have aged really well.
Oh yeah,
as well. Yeah, like really well.
And like Harrison Ford, holy, what a man! So he's very handsome.
I also just love how in Raiders of the Lost Ark, once you know it, that Indiana Jones does nothing to the plot. Like it would have happened exactly the same without him as well. He's kind of enjoyed more as well. You see him like, being a side character in the goddamn story, basically.
He just kind of turns up and like fucks up the order of things. But in the end, yeah, that's a funny way to look at it.
I like that one.
Although watching the movie, it did make me realize that, like, wow, these games are just like a complete beat for beat rip off of the movies. But that's fine because that's what you wanted.
Yeah, it's like Force Awakens when people were still like, I was fine, but it was the same old movies before people really hated the sequels.
Oh yeah, Force Awakens. We didn't realize how good we had it. Rise of Skywalker. What a piece of shit film! I fucking hate that movie so much.
Everybody who says that The Last Jedi is what ruined Star Wars, like, nah, like it's not even the worst Star Wars movie. Like Rise of Skywalker is so bad, it's crazy.
At least somehow Palpatine returned.
At least
that's my mother stanky.
So bad, isn't it? Somehow. So how?
Somehow.
It's not really important to the story, is it?
What? Fuck it is! Last time we saw him, he turned to dust. Sorry, dog.
The thing that annoys me about that film so much is this fucker's got this ancient dagger, which is going to show him the location of the bad MacGuffin. And he finds that by using it on the crashed piece of the Death Star.
That's like 40 years old.
Yeah, and also it's in the sea, a very treacherous and rough sea. I'm like, surely there would be like, I know that Star Wars is in the future, and so the future stuff is probably fairly resilient, but you can't be sure nothing's going to what? There's a big storm or something, and it knocks bits off. Like, how does this work? How does any of this work?
I did geography. I know what longshore drift is. That shit would get dragged away in a second.
That one is it's such a mess of a series of movies. At least, like I'll actually say this as well for extra hate. Last Jedi isn't a great movie or anything like that, but it has the best cinematography of any Star Wars movie, hands down. At least it tries something new. It's not good what it tries, but at least it tries to like break the formula.
It was trying something, and it may not have worked perfectly, but goddamn, it's hilarious that everyone was like, "Oh, this isn't great," and it would cause this great divide. And then the Last Skywalker, or whatever the fuck it's called, came back, and it was like, "Holy shit! No, this is the worst Star Wars film." Just give me Rogue One, where like not much happens. It's got all the classic technology, and then Darth Vader comes in at the end and makes me shit my pants from joy.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi is also the most. Force Awakens is actually the highest grossing Star Wars movie ever. And then it's Last Jedi.
Which is weird because like The Force Awakens is effectively just A New Hope.
Yep.
With a different skin.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like it works, but it's basically the same film apart from the fact they go, instead of a Death Star, we've got a Death Planet, and instead of blowing up one planet, it blows up lots of planets. So it's obviously more threatening. That's how we know it is. And then the second film is basically, again, the Empire Strikes Back, because you've got the battle against the AT-ATs. You've got that. It's all basically the same. And then they repackage it, and it's like, okay, this is generally fine. I'm okay with this. And then they do the third film where, they jumped so many fucking sharks.
It's I think this is probably opening a dangerous can of worms. Just talking about Star Wars at all. People have I will always remember this the Simpsons joke where they like talk about, oh no, comic book guy is the angriest person I know. His favorite franchise is Star Wars, and he hates Star Wars. And it's such a like good thing, but like it's. Yeah, it really nails really hits the nail on the head.
If you're a big fan of something, you're the most critical of it. Like, we talk shit on Total War all the time. Doesn't mean it's not like all of one of our favorite series of games.
Yeah.
Or the thing we spend the most of our time doing.
Yeah, and I always talk about how much I love the game. And you know what? I love Star Wars too. I think Star Wars is great. I love the aesthetic, and I really like the who's the blue guy? Admiral, what's his face?
Tarkin?
Thrawn?
No, not Tarkin. Yeah, Thrawn. Yeah, sorry, not Tarkin.
Idiot.
Tarkin, no. Thrawn.
I can't believe you call yourself a Star Wars fan. I like those books, even though they're basically, Sherlock Holmes in a blue makeup. That's what they are. But that's fine. I like that. I enjoy it. It's it's fine.
Have you watched Skeleton Crew?
Not yet.
Sorry?
Have you watched Skeleton Crew?
No, but I've heard it's good.
I've been on a bit
Skeleton Crew is...
I don't know, Disney like fatigue. Like, I watched Guardians 3 on holiday, and even though everyone says it's really good, I was just like, I just don't care.
You didn't like Guardians 3?
I think I just wasn't in the mood to be watching it correctly. And then I haven't watched much Star Wars since Mandalorian season whatever, which kind of sucked. Was it 3?
Have you watched Andor then?
We watched like 3 episodes of it, and then we just never picked it back up. I think we just kind of got
pick
sick
it up
of it.
again. It's just 12 episodes. But Skeleton Crew is like this like the Goonies meets Treasure Island in Star Wars. And like the first couple of episodes were fairly all right. It's kind of entertaining. It's like, oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I do agree. I do kind of have Disney fatigue though.
Yeah.
There was a point where you had the first 3 Star Wars films, and then that was it. And then they went, now we're doing the prequels, and everyone went insane. And then Disney got a hold of it. And now it's basically wall-to-wall Star Wars.
They just keep fucking up by... Not everything has to connect to the fucking Skywalkers. Like, The Mandalorian was so cool because it was just Pedro Pascal with a little green guy having some wacky adventures, and then like, all right, but what if we got Luke Skywalker involved? Why?
Everybody just wants like the easy watch TV with Star Wars now. I think everybody's like, give me Monster of the Week with Pedro Pascal.
Exactly.
That's all I want. He has his space caravan that's a little bit dinky. He has this little green guy, and he solves crimes in space. Give me that.
It's basically Shaggy and Scooby, isn't it? And the Mystery Machine. Effectively, that's what you want. You want him investigating like a haunted ship or something.
But my dream Star Wars scenario is like Alan Tudyk as the big robot that is in Rogue One, because it's really funny as that one.
Yeah.
That and Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny. And they're like these incompetent, incredibly horrible people going around being mercenaries in the galaxy. That would be like my dream scenario.
just give me It's Always Sunny, but it's in the bar on Tatooine.
or just in like one of those space caravans. They travel around a little bit, which we will always bring to Tatooine because they need to like have money. Like they just need to know that set is worth money every year.
Yeah, they say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Not a lot of fucking planets in this galaxy. It seems like there's Tatooine, and that's it. There's like 3 others.
That's supposed to be like a backwater planet. Everything
Yeah.
exciting seems to happen on fucking Tatooine.
Yeah, super outer rim, not even part of the Colonial Republic or Empire.
I want to see one of these internal planets that isn't Coruscant. What's going on there?
It's like, what does Luke Skywalker say at the start? If there was a center of the galaxy, you're on the planet furthest away from it. And then literally at the same time, like pretty much every important thing in the galaxy is happening within a 10-mile radius of fucking Mos Eisley.
It's like a fucking Tatooine should be a Yucca monopolis from like how much important events happen there.
So it's like, yeah, there's like Shane who lives in shed number 5 constantly.
All the little background characters now all have their backgrounds, or have their own fucking series on Disney. Oh, it's to be honest, what they need to do is just more series without Jedi in it, because Jedi are the worst thing about Star Wars.
Just that's what I'm saying. Just like individual stories. Just give me a story of a guy that is in the Star Wars universe, interacts with like the Empire, maybe the Rebels, no one else.
The Lost Tales, what was it called? Visions is usually pretty good for that, where you just have like one-shot stories.
Yeah, it's why I always think that the crime novels from Black Library for 40k are the most interesting ones, because they're the ones that don't have Space Marines in them.
Those are the Cyphers Kane ones. I can't remember if there's a lot of Space Marines.
Basically, anything that doesn't have fucking Space Marines in it is always the best stories, because Space Marines have no personality. Much like Jedi. Jedi don't have any personality either. They're basically just lightsabers.
I mean, both of them are, trained from adolescence to not have feelings. They're like warrior monks, both of them. Like it's kind of on brand, and none of them really have much personalities because, you suppress that. Both of them are grown up in cults with fanaticism. So, yeah. I mean,
it's like here's our main character. Does he have a personality? Well, yeah, sort of like cardboard effect. Yeah, if you could taste it, it would be cardboard. That's what their personality is, and the entire story is about them. Enjoy.
But somebody might say, "Oh, well, they're not fanatics, Jedi." Like, the Jedi, the first cult of the light side users were like the Jedi, which is like Jed, and then like AI Jedi, something like apostrophe and stuff. And they were the ones who attacked the dark side users first, saying the very beginning of everything.
All right, as a hard pivot from Star Wars, either of you two watched The Penguin?
No,
but I've heard it's good.
It is really, really excellent.
It's really, really good.
It's phenomenally good. Like,
I have to watch that.
I'm struggling to think of anything that I don't like about it. It's so good, but I'm glad that neither of you two watched it, so we can't say anything about it.
Creature Commandos, though, that's been pretty good. But I just like trash stuff. I'm like, what's one of the best animes out there? I'm like Baki the Grappler. Because Baki, like, you always say, like, all art is inherently political. Because everything will always go into, like, the authors or creators, like, background and what their values are and stuff like that. Not Baki. Baki is the only thing that isn't like inherently political. It is just batshit crazy constantly. Just people fighting everyone constantly, and it's for no reason. It's just weird.
Yeah, I've also watched Creature Commandos, and yes, it's really good.
Yeah. That being said, unfortunately, we will have to start rounding off here.
I feel like we've talked more about things that aren't Total War than Total War, but that's fine.
Which is exactly the point.
One DLC in 8 months.
I mean, this is going out in January. Who gives a fuck? No.
Yeah. Anyway,
January's a write-off.
Hope you guys have had a good start of the new year when you're watching this. From us, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays for when, belated.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching this so far as well.
We've got some big, huge plans in 2025. We're keeping them close to the chest.
We do? Oh, wait, no. Yes, we do, yes.
Let us know your game of the year, your hopes for Total Wars in the comments below. Like and subscribe, ring that little bell. Say crypto algorithm something in the comments.
If we say a load of keywords, I'll get a good ad rate. So plasma television, cryptocurrency, steak.
Pay safe, PayPal.
Exactly.
So thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. That's it for us this time around.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.